Friday night football has returned to Riverdale High School in Fort Myers, Florida, as the Riverdale Raiders take on the Cypress Lake Panthers in the Fall Classic preseason contest. A pleasant good evening to all who are tuning in wherever you may be. This is Nick Rush giving you the play-by-play of tonight's ball game on the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network. Before we dive into the opening kickoff of tonight's contest, let's update you on this pair of schools and their situation heading into this brand new season of football. Both teams have a similar story, and after an unsatisfactory 2015 season, these teams are both sporting new coaches and hoping to turn their program around by creating a winning season. So the kickoff is here, and we are underway at 8:11 p.m. High school football is back at Riverdale High School in Southwest Florida. So the Cypress Lake Panthers, they have won the coin toss and they have elected to receive the ball. The kick is booted up and it is returned to the 25-yard line, as Cypress Lake will move from left to right across your computer screen. In this first quarter of play, Riverdale will run from right to left. So players making their way out on the field right now for Cypress Lake.
Yeah, that's Cypress running from left to right.
And we are set to go. There's your snap in the rush up the middle. And that runner is going to be stopped. Very nice play there by the Riverdale defense. And that's a nice trait that they have had throughout the course of the 2015 regular season. This Riverdale defense, they are known for their hard hits and their great strategy to keep the team from advancing for the first down. On the carry there was Ben Riley for Cypress Lake. There's a shotgun snap, toss off to the left side, going to Riley, running up the far side of the field to the 30-yard line. There is a flag down on the play, and a whistle is blown as Riley falls at around the 30-yard line. Starting quarterback for Cypress Lake today is going to be number 6, Keon Bronner. This is going to be a false start going up against Cypress Lake here. That will drag them back 5 yards. And as a result, we are going to draw a second down once again. Well, the Riverdale Raiders left the 2015 year by going 3-7 in a disappointing season. However, with new coach Tom Rozelle taking the reins of the RHS football program and plenty of talented athletes returning to the team, the Raiders are dedicated to turning the club around by pulling together a winning record in 2016. We'll tell you about Cypress Lake in just a moment. Bronner back in the gun once again. Here's a handoff up the gut. The man with the ball, he's going to be dragged back all the way to around the 15-yard line as he is stopped for a third down. And it's now 3rd and long for Cypress Lake. Just underway in this ball game, 10:58 left to play here in your first quarter. 0-0 score between Riverdale and Cypress Lake. That was another carry going to Ben Riley on the play with the wraparound. And he just ran right into a brick wall there, it seems like, as the Riverdale defense remains strong. Bronner back in the gun. That's a botched snap. Fires it off to the far side. That's going to be pulled in by the receiver. Just absolutely blasting his way down the far side. And he is going to be stopped for the 4th down.
On the play, open up 4th down. 4th down and 4 for the Panthers.
4th and 14.
So it's going to be 4th and 14. Coming up with the catch there was B.J. Edwards, the wide receiver on the play. Wide open throughout the entire play, so made for an easy pitch and catch there. Off the hands of Keon Bronner, the quarterback. There is a botched snap off the punt. Punter is going to just kick it up. That gets across the 30-yard line, and it's going to drop down just inside the 35, and the Raiders are going to start their offensive drive, their first of the ball game, and some nice territory on the enemy end of the field. Well, that was a very bizarre play there. The punter, it just went right off the fingertips to snap there from the center. He started running it up the far side, and then just out of desperation, it seems like he boots it up, but doesn't get a nice lengthy kick. Instead, that one just stayed in the air, end over end, and it only gets across the 30-yard line on the Cypress Lake end. So out comes Daniel Ulmer, the starting quarterback, and the Riverdale offense. Ulmer and the I formation here, Zach Sanders in the back. Rush up the middle to Sanders, weaving in between defensemen. He is going to be chopped up at the 30-yard line, running up the near side. Zach Sanders, he's a junior here at Riverdale High School, and last year he made his debut season at the varsity level, and what an impressive year it was. He knows how to stay agile up on his feet. And that was a 2-yard gain on the play, so it's now 2nd and 8. Once again, I formation here for Ulmer. We'll introduce you to Daniel Ulmer in just a few moments. Handoff to Sanders up the middle. He is locked up in between two defensemen, but he stretches out the ball. And let's see what the official ruling is going to be here. It looks like he was tackled just inches away from the first down marker. That is going to be the case as it is 3rd down. Well, let's tell you about Cypress Lake and how they finished up last season. They are also trying to rally after a season-long slump in 2015. They finished their previous year with a 2-7 overall win-loss record. They're hoping to get some positive habits rolling right here in this preseason matchup. 3rd down, just short of the first down marker. And look who it is. It's Zach Sanders picking up more than enough for the first down with a handoff up the middle. And that's a Riverdale first down as they're able to put that ball down right on the Cypress Lake 20. 8:54 left here in your first quarter. It's a 0-0 score between Riverdale and Cypress Lake. Thank you all for tuning in to the Riverdale Raiders broadcast network for tonight's ball game between these two rebuilding teams in Southwest Florida. This is Nick Rush giving you the call. Very glad you can all join along for some nice high school football in the preseason. This is going to be a very short carry of about 1 yard on the play, and it's 2nd down and 9. Keenan Walker was able to pick up his first carry of the ball game right there. Very simple, just got the ball in his hands, ran it right up the middle, and that's just what you have to do when you have that ball in your hands. You can't be fancy, you can't try to be the hero zigging off to the left and the right, moving back. You just need to put your head down, run it up the middle, and that's where you get the best results. Because you don't have as big as a risk of yard loss. Zach Sanders going to get his hands on the ball, gets it to around the 10-yard line. Looks like there may have been a potential fumble there as a big scram of Cypress Lake players were able to jump on him, but the Raiders do recover, and it's 3rd and 1. Ball sitting just shy of the Cypress Lake 10. Riverdale with an amazing opportunity to draw first blood here in this ball game. Ulmer under center, handoff up the middle. It was a handoff to Sanders from Ulmer on the play. And let's see if it's just enough for the first down. It will be. After a brief moment, the chain gang stretches out. And we're back to down number 1. Raiders so far doing everything right here on their opening offensive drive of the ball game. Well, Daniel Ulmer, he is certainly a promising athlete. And after this play, we'll tell you some of his stats from last season. He definitely is a threat. If he doesn't have any man open downfield to throw to, he'll take matters into his own hands by rushing downfield. Zach Sanders trying to score on the play. He will come up just shy. Getting down at the 5-yard line at the center of the field. It's now 2nd down Raiders.
Gene Miller on the tackle for the Panthers.
Your starting quarterback, once again, is the junior student Daniel Ulmer in his second season of action at the varsity level as a junior. In his 10 games played in the 2015 season, he threw for 1,196 passing yards, 89 receptions, 9 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. He ran for a total of 235 rushing yards, scored off of 7 rushing touchdowns, and picked up an overall quarterback rating of 59.2. Here's another carry to the running back, Zach Sanders. Really is pesky, trying to wedge his way in between multiple defensemen at a time, and he is pushed up against the far sideline for the stop, and it's now third down. And it seems as if in the game of football, the quarterback is typically known for his arm rather than his feet. But it seems like Ulmer, he just has the best of both worlds. Once again, he doesn't have any man open downfield. He's not afraid to run the ball, keep it in his hands. Throughout this entire offensive drive, the Riverdale offense has remained in I formation. Rush up the middle to Sanders. Sanders is going to be dragged back on to play, and it looks like that's going to be fourth down for the Raiders. So they really showed some ignition on this opening offensive drive of the ball game. But they are put down at the Cypress Lake 4-yard line, and they can't get the opening touchdown of the game up on the board. And believe it or not, they are going to go for a fourth down conversion on the play. It's 6 points or bust. It's the preseason. These stats and records don't count, so feel free to try some things out that you normally wouldn't in a regular ball game. Keenan Walker getting the handoff, and he is tackled all the way back at the 10, trying to rush it up his left side. It's a turnover on downs, and Cypress Lake now has the ball back. So after punting it away on their opening drive of the ball game, the Panthers are back out. Ball spotted right on the 10. So 4:28 left to go here in the first. It remains a 0-0 score after both teams have a shot of the ball. And we have a media timeout here at Karl Engel Field on the campus of Riverdale High School. Therefore, we will take a break and come back with some more Raider football action right after this on the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network. 4:28 left to go here in your first quarter of play, where it's a 0-0 score in this preseason high school football matchup between the Riverdale Raiders and the Cypress Lake Panthers. Cypress Lake, they will start their second drive of the ball game right at their own 10-yard line. So let's see if they can get things going after a 3-and-out on their opening attempts. Keon Bronner, the quarterback, gets back out there under center, gives the rush up the middle to Isaiah Thomas, and he is stopped right on the line of scrimmage. There is a fumble as Thomas goes down, and Cypress Lake is going to recover the ball. So it's now second down, and actually it is going to the Riverdale Raiders. Well, that is something. At first, it looked like Cypress Lake was recovering the ball. The offensive line, they were up and ready to go for another play. But a Raider defensive lineman is able to hop on top and just grab it out of the pile for the turnover. And the Raider offense, they start where they're previously left off at the enemy 10-yard line. It looked like Myquan Shackleford was able to pick that one out of the scramble for Riverdale, but it turns out it is overturned. Cypress Lake has the ball back. Well, what a wild moment that was. Here's a rush up the middle. Once again, Cypress Lake resumes their offensive drive. Ben Riley with the carry, comes up short once again for the third down. So excuse me for that one, but these Raider fans, you heard them go wild in the background. The players, they thought they had it. The fans thought Riverdale had control, but that was not the case. But the Riverdale defense, they remain tough out there on the line of scrimmage, and if they keep up this style of play, then they shouldn't have problems keeping this Cypress Lake team back throughout the course of regulation. This is thrown down the sidelines by Bronner. Far side, and it's bobbled away. You have got to be kidding me. Jermaine Teague, number 7 for Cypress Lake, was standing at the center of the field right at the 50-yard line. That ball went right into his hands and right back out. I could have swore he had that one, and he's really kicking himself as he heads to the Cypress Lake sidelines up to the far side. Raiders sitting on the near side of my broadcast position. It's another unsuccessful offensive drive for Cypress Lake. It appears that they are going to kick the ball away once again. Kick is booted up, end over end. That's a nice kick going all the way to the 50. It's going to barely be recovered by the Raiders. Oh, some extracurricular activities going on as the return man for Riverdale is dragged back at the 40. There is a flag, and it appeared that a Cypress Lake player grabbed up on the face mask of the Riverdale player. So right now the officials are getting this one settled through. And let's wait for this official call. The referees do not have microphones that go over the public address system, but the call is loud and clear as a Cypress Lake penalty is going to be the face mask, as we just brought up moments ago. 3:06 now remaining here in the first. It's a 0-0 score between Riverdale and Cypress Lake. Nick Rush giving you the call here on a wonderful Friday evening, and originally there were a few stops. We had a lightning delay that lasted almost an hour. This ball game was originally slated to start at 7 p.m., but due to some frequent lightning in the area, we did have an hour-long delay, but the players are out, and we're ready for some football. Fans remained very patient as they are out in full force, both on the Riverdale fan section and on the Cypress Lake fan side. So as a result of that prior penalty, Riverdale starts the offensive drive inside the Cypress Lake 45. Back at the 50, Ulmer going long downfield near side and complete. Attended receiver was number 5, Deshaun Lane. He had a defenseman right on his back, and it bobbled in between the hands of Lane and the Cypress Lake defenseman, but no one could come up with complete contact of it as both men went down to the ground after the whistle. It's now second down, Riverdale. Ulmer trying things. A little new with his wide receivers and running backs. Seems as if he's really putting a lot of trust into the hands of his running back here. Here's a handoff up the middle. This one goes to Quantavious Brown, and he gets inside the 40-yard line. And it's now down number 3, about 2 yards to go for the fresh new set of downs. It's time for the uniforms of tonight's ball game. Riverdale, as usual during home games, they're dressed in their garnet red uniforms, white numbers on the front and back, garnet red pants, white socks, and white helmets with the red script R on both sides. There is a garnet trim rolling down the center of the helmet. So 3rd and 2 for Ulmer and the Riverdale offense. He rolls back to the 50 off of the play action flag on the play. Ulmer running for his life down the far left side. He takes a very vicious hit there from Gene Malivert on the Cypress Lake defense. And I believe there was an extra flag that came down as Ulmer took that tough hit. So let's see what the officials are going to rule this one. You have a holding going against Riverdale. And you also have a false start. So there are multiple flags going against Riverdale. They're not very appreciative of that, of course, as there will be some damage done with the ball being dragged back. So the officials get out of their scramble, and their official ruling of the ball is going to be right on the Cypress Lake 45-yard line. And they're going to drop it back even further to the Riverdale 44. Yeah, those moments and those plays where your team picks up multiple penalties off of one play, it never ends up pretty, and some massive damage is done as a result. .145 off the rolling clock. Neither team's able to draw first blood here in this ball game. It's 3rd and very long, and here's another flag thrown, and this is going to be a delay of game call going against Riverdale. And those avoidable penalties can really just kill you. They are easily presentable. You just need to be aware of your surroundings at all times. So Daniel Ulmer can't deliver the snap in time. Ball now at the Riverdale 39 as they go deeper and deeper back in their own end. Ulmer going deep down the far side. Deshaun Lane tries to dive, and the pass has too much mustard behind it. It's 4th down for Riverdale, and that's another one going to Deshaun Lane. That time he had no problem getting open downfield, shaking off his defenseman and all. But Ulmer's throw was just a little bit too strong. Deshaun Lane tried to dive for it, but to no avail. He could just barely get his fingertips on it. There will be a punt here for the Raiders as they are deep in their own zone. This ball bounces back to him, and he gets absolutely rocked. My goodness, back to the 25. What a gruesome hit laid out there on J.P. D'Alessandro, the kicker in his first year with Riverdale. Well, that ball took about 2 bounces before J.P. D'Alessandro came up with the ball in his hands. Before he can even get a view of the field in front of him, he just got absolutely rocked. My gosh. Those type of hits can injure a kicker. So it's going to be some more great starts to the offensive drive. This time it's going to Cypress Lake, deep in enemy territory, just at about the Raider 25. Back at the 30. Here's a pass deep down the sidelines. Is it caught? No, it is not. Wow, very close call there. Double coverage was where that wide receiver was at, but to no avail, he could not come up with it. It was B.J. Edwards trying to get it in his hands, but it didn't work out. So we have a little bit of a correction on the starting quarterback in tonight's game for Cypress Lake. It is Joseph Lemoyne wearing number 3. Once again, he is the starting quarterback in tonight's ball game for Cypress Lake. Number 3, Joseph Lemoyne. So excuse me for that one. But Joseph Lemoyne right now trying to work something out. This is the greatest opportunity that Cypress Lake has had throughout the course of tonight's ball game when it comes to getting on that board. And look at this. It looks as if we have a lightning delay. This right here is unbelievable, but lightning has been detected within a 10-mile radius of Riverdale High School, and as a result, the players, they're going to head back to the shelter and the locker rooms. Fans are going to clear Karl Engel Field, and with 1 minute and 20 seconds left to play here in your opening quarter of play, it is 0-0. Cypress Lake, they hold the ball deep in the offensive end, but right now we have a little bit of a delay once again. Let's remind you of how the lightning alarm works here at Riverdale High School. Most, if not every, high school campus at this point has a lightning alarm.
I do wrestling now.
Excuse me, their alarm, I should say. And it really is a nice invention to protect athletes and fans and just overall anybody outside from having that lightning come within a dangerous distance. So that lightning siren, it can pick up any strikes within a 10-mile radius of Riverdale High School, and if it does sound, then all fans are to seek shelter, whether that be in their cars or in the Riverdale Gymnasium. Players, they are heading back to the locker rooms, and this is going to be at least a 30-minute delay. And as we mentioned earlier here on the broadcast, we did have a 1-hour lightning delay prior to the start of tonight's contest. Since this is a preseason game, we are not too sure on whether this game is going to proceed or not. We will give you updates. As of right now, it does seem as if the lightning is not too close to Riverdale. Don't want to jinx anything, of course. But throughout the course of the first quarter, I should say, there have been some small lightning strikes up in the skies. Just almost barely noticeable, but one of them was close enough in the sky to just sound off that alarm. So once again, 1 minute, 20 seconds left here in your first. It's a 0-0 score, and we have a 30-minute delay at least. Now, if some more lightning occurs here on the campus of Riverdale High School, the alarm will reset to 30 minutes. So hopefully we'll have some more high school football in just a little bit. But for now, we will take a break, come back with some more Raider football, hopefully, in just a few moments.
We're 30 minutes out.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network. Nick Rush here on the Riverdale football field, Karl Engel Field on the campus of Riverdale, and it is 9:32 p.m., and we have finally decided to call off the remainder of this ball game. As we get back on the air, there's a minute 20 left to play here in your first quarter, and it's going to end up as a 0-0 score between the Riverdale Raiders and the Cypress Lake Panthers. So this game didn't last a long time. In fact, the lightning delays were actually much more lengthier than the game, so that really shows you how tonight's game has went. And finally, at 9:30 p.m., this game has been called off. So this game is going to end up as a scoreless tie, and Riverdale is going to head into their next ball game, which is going to be next Friday night as they take on the North Fort Myers Red Knights. 7:30 p.m. kickoff right here at Karl Engel Field on the campus of Riverdale High School. So feel free to come out. Tickets start at $5 a piece. But that's going to do it tonight. What an adventure it's been here in the press box. Well, once again, one more time, Riverdale and Cypress Lake and this Fall Classic preseason contest, it ends up scoreless, 0-0 with 1:20 left in the first. So we thank you all so much for just being patient throughout the course of regulation and the delays. We really do appreciate our fans. But once again, this is Nick Rush signing off on the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network as this game is busted. We'll see you once again Friday night against North Fort Myers, 7:30 p.m. kickoff, Karl Engel Field on the campus of Riverdale High School. Thank you for listening in. Have a safe weekend and a good night.